And I forgot to mention that little vocal part would have been the audience participation section of the song. The next song that we're going to play has a bit of a convoluted origin. It is a version of a popular minstrel refrain that was published in 1858 under the title Down in Alabama, with the subtitle, Ain't I Glad I Got Out the Wilderness. With revised lyrics, it became Lincoln's most popular campaign song from the 1860 election. It was known as a little ditty known as Old Abe Lincoln Came Out of the Wilderness. The tune did make for a good campaign slogan. Old Abe Lincoln came out the wilderness, out of the wilderness, out of the wilderness. Old Abe Lincoln came out the wilderness, down in Illinois. It's a natural. And our arrangement of the tune, however, is from the band books of the 26th North Carolina Regiment, a Confederate band. The arrangement is entitled Old Joe Hooker, after Union Major General Joseph Hooker, whom Lincoln appointed to command the Army of the Potomac after General Ambrose Burnside's costly defeat at the Battle of Fredericksburg. But why, you may ask, was a Southern band playing an arrangement of Lincoln's campaign song titled after a Union general? Well, after Hooker's disastrous defeat in the Battle of Chancellorsville, some Confederate wag came up with satirical lyrics that made fun of the Union general. Now, unnerved after very nearly, by inches, very nearly losing his noggin to a Confederate cannonball which struck the porch post that he was leaning on, Hooker cracked, and he squandered the opportunity to crush General Lee's army and win the war. He incomprehensibly ordered his Union forces to retreat from their superior positions, and this allowed Lee's outnumbered army to escape. The price for that escape would be paid by both armies at Gettysburg. Old Joe Hooker, won't you come out the wilderness, come out the wilderness, come out the wilderness, were the taunting words that were sung at the front line by Confederate soldiers. Now, if the tune sounds familiar to you, it may be because in 1917 it was recycled with, yet again, with new lyrics. The old gray mare, she ain't what she used to be. Okay, now you recognize it. And that became a hit song as well. We're going to play for you the 26th North Carolina band's Old Joe Hooker Quickstep, also known as Old Abe Lincoln. In the late 1850s, the newly constituted Republican Party, any Republicans here? Shouldn't I ask? The newly constituted Republican Party organized a number of paramilitary parade groups whose purpose was to provide support for Republican candidates. Chief amongst these groups was one called the Wide Awakes, whose mission was outlined as follows. to act as a political police, to provide escort duty to all prominent Republican speakers, to keep order at public meetings, to attend the polls to see that justice was done for every legal voter, to conduct themselves in such a manner as to induce all Republicans to join them, and to join together in large numbers to work for the good of the Republican ticket. In 1860, the New York Herald estimated that there were over 400,000 drilled and uniformed wide-awakes nationwide. In support of candidate Abraham Lincoln during the 1860 presidential campaign, the wide-awakes organized many spectacular torchlight parades, replete with bands and fireworks. After Lincoln called up the militia in April 1861, the wide-awakes and other Republican and Democratic parade groups volunteered en masse for the Union Army. Our next selection was very possibly heard at a September 11th, 1860 parade of wide-awakes in Albany, New York. The New York Times reported that the marchers carried 4,000 torches and were accompanied by several bands. The piece is obviously entitled Wide Awake Quickstep, and it was performed by Schreiber's Albany Cornet Band. And this composition was lost to history until we discovered the original piano sheet music a number of years ago, several years ago, and I had it expanded to, the arrangement expanded to approximate the original band parts as closely as is possible at this late date. This is Schreiber's Albany Cornet Band's Wide Awake Quickstep.